Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to XanEdu. We will give folks another minute or two to get started, so just sit tight and we will get going in a moment. Thank you. See a few more people rolling in, so we will start in just a moment. All right, so let's get started. So my name is Joyce Mueller. I'm the Vice President of Marketing here at XanEdu, and I'm so pleased to welcome you this afternoon to our broadcast about FlexEd and OpenRN and some great opportunities to save money for our nursing students as they build their future. So today my co-presenter is Don Yao Chang. He is our Director of Higher Education Sales. However, Don was recently diagnosed with COVID, so I'm going to be flying solo here, but we will reach out to everybody after the webinar in case you have any questions you want to schedule live demos, et cetera, et cetera. So we know your time is valuable. We're going to keep our webinar to under 30 minutes and get you on with your day, but give you some valuable information as we move ahead. So today I'm going to cover a quick overview of what is OER. Then I'm going to walk you through an introduction to a great organization called OpenRN. I'll introduce you to our company, XanEdu, and talk about the relationship between XanEdu and OpenRN. And then I'm going to spend a couple of minutes on digital delivery. This is something that's on the top of mind for everybody, particularly in the last few weeks where many schools are once again struggling with remote, hybrid, or in-person options. I'm going to tell you a little bit about FlexEd Courseware, and then we'll open it up to Q&A. If you have questions, feel free to just post them in that chat, and we'll tackle them throughout the webinar or at the end. And if we don't get a chance to answer your questions, we will reach out to you after the broadcast. So let's get right into it. An overview of OpenRN. What is this all about? Or I'm sorry, an overview of OER. So OER is Open Educational Resources. So you see where the name comes there. So what open educational resources are, and I love this definition from the William and Flora Hewlett Foundation, they are teaching, learning, and research materials in any medium. They can be digital or otherwise, and these materials reside in the public domain, or they've been released under an open license that permits no-cost access, but where it gets really interesting is no-cost use, adoption, and even redistribution by others with very limited to no restrictions at all. So a couple of key bullet points here. The PDF download is always free. Open resources exist for not only textbook, but also photos, music, and many other media. They're licensed under free licensing within Creative Commons. And there may be some restrictions and guidelines, but typically they're very minimal. And this is where working with a partner company that's an expert in OER like XanEdu can really help you weed through quality, navigate any of those guidelines that are in existence for the content that you're looking for. So OER usage, as you would imagine, many schools and universities are looking for ways to lower student costs, lower the barriers to education for students, particularly important in the healthcare industry. So a Faculty Watch survey in 2020 asked about OER usage. And you can see it's grown steadily over time, but there's still a lot of opportunity for improvement for OER usage. So XanEdu asked many of our faculty partners, so you're considering OER, you want to save money for your students, of course. What are some of the most important things to consider before you adopt OER? The highest number there was affordability at 57%. But then quality and increased engagement came in a close second. So the key takeaway here is faculty want to give their students affordability, but they're not willing to compromise on quality. And they also are looking for ways to increase student engagement. So as you can imagine, with anything new, there are challenges. And I recognize that this slide is a little bit small in the data, but the key points to pull away for you here are, what are the top challenges? Why would someone not adopt OER content? The first piece is sourcing relevant content. There's a lot of stuff out there. It's all over the place. It's not really centralized. So the time that it could take to find that relevant content can really be a challenge. And then of course, quality. Because open content can be produced by anybody, you want to make sure that it's quality, it's vetted, it's accurate, and all of those things. So that can be a big challenge. And then, of course, the time to transition, whether it's free content, low-cost content, or just something new. You may have been teaching your course for years and years and years, and the time to transition to new materials is a challenge. Now, later in the presentation, I'll walk you through how FlexEd and XanEdu can help address each of these top challenges. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit and introduce you to OpenRN. What is OpenRN? It's a fabulous organization, and they are all about quality. You can see they've won some awards in quality, but they were funded by a $2.5 million grant from the Department of Education. And the goal there was to create 5 free OER textbooks for nursing education. These books would cover the foundational pieces of nursing education. The overarching goal was to reduce costs for nursing students while maintaining high quality materials. The lead team for this grant, it's being led by Chippewa Valley Technical College out of Wisconsin, and the books are all being written collaboratively from faculty across the Wisconsin Technical Colleges network. In addition, each book undergoes an extensive peer review process. Back to that quality piece. Quality is really important, and in any academics, peer review is key to that. The OpenRN community encourages adoption, customization, and even adaptation. And that might be to state standards, to particular university requirements, or just the way that you like to teach. That's encouraged. And then finally, very important for nursing, we all know the NCLEX exam is critical, and the books are aligned to success in that exam. So a couple of success stories to share with you from some of the early OpenRN adopters. We had a nursing faculty member who adopted the first book, Nursing Pharmacology, and she shared some student success data. So fall of 2019, pre-OER, pre-OpenRN, she had a 75.8% student pass rate. Very, very good. But look at the jump in spring 2020, 86.9%. And then in fall of 2020, able to keep that above that 81%. So faculty members are seeing success with this. Then a couple of other anecdotes that I love to share with people. We had a nursing student who was attending a college, and the math portion just was not clicking for this student for whatever reason. She had used a lot of different resources, and the math calculations just weren't working for her. The OpenRN books are written deliberately in a very down-to-earth manner so that students can absorb the material and understand the material, and they're really focused on student comprehension. So this student used the math calculations chapter of the pharmacology book and was ultimately able to pass the test. Additionally, students are talking about the tools and how they really appreciate the online components, the learning activities, and the case studies, just to go beyond just a textbook and bring everything, the content, into the real world. So the OpenRN series, here's the book publishing timeline for you. Nursing Pharmacology, Skills, and Fundamentals are all available now, and the team is hard at work on the last 2, Mental Health and Community, as well as Management and Professional Concepts, so look for those coming soon. So talking a little bit about XanEdu and OpenRN, how does this relationship start? And I'll talk about the relationship first, and then I'll introduce you to XanEdu. So XanEdu is a great partner to OpenRN, and we manage the digital downloads. So you can access any of those books that I mentioned, download the entire PDF via xanedu.com/OpenRN. Those are free, available to use, and you're available to adapt those and customize those. Additionally, XanEdu's background is in print, and we've been named the official print partner for the OpenRN textbooks. So affordability is our collective goal, and we understand that digital is free, but that a lot of people, particularly with nursing books that might be references, they want to have that hard copy, or maybe they're like me and they like to highlight. So that hard copy is available for pharmacology is $42 via Amazon. The price, as you can imagine, varies by page count, but you can see a college level textbook for $42 is definitely an affordable option for students. Now, XanEdu prides ourselves in the ability to meet any client's needs. Custom publishing is absolutely in our DNA. So we can customize print versions or FlexEd or whatever a team wants to meet their needs. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time in a moment on walking you through FlexEd digital courseware. But before I do that, I want to just give you a brief overview of who is XanEdu. So our mission is inspiring the education community with innovative solutions that build affordable and accessible accessible experiences for student success. At the end of the day, we're all here, educators and XanEdu alike and OpenRN. We're here because we're all about the students as they prepare for their future. So walking you through our services, as I mentioned before, custom services are DNA. So we can do custom course builds that are aligned directly to your syllabus. We offer course redesign services, and we have a full team of instructional design support, editors, copywriters, designers that can help institutions at any level really build out the courses to meet the needs of their teaching goals. So before I jump into FlexEd, I've talked a little bit about OpenRN, talked about XanEdu. I want to give you some insight, and I'm going to challenge you about going digital. So faculty preference for digital course materials grew, as you can imagine. And the number of faculty who are going to continue to want digital materials, that's not going to slow down anytime soon. The pandemic kind of poured some gas on that fire, but things were already headed that way. So let's look ahead. And this is a survey that was done in 2020 by Faculty Watch, which is a very robust survey instrument, and was published in 2021. So they asked faculty members, what do they expect? The huge percentage of them, 73%, expected to see more hybrid and flexible online and in-person instruction. And 73%, also expect to see more frequent use of technology and digital content. More than half, more online-only classes, and then several smaller class sizes. So hybrid and flex is here to stay. Obviously, we're living in crazy times, so it's certainly top of mind right now, but as we continue to progress, hybrid and flex and in-person instruction are still going to be something that we're all trying to solve for and make it the most engaging experience for students. So before I talk about FlexEd, I'm going to give you a challenge. So digital, I love this quote. So digital communication tools don't take away the in-person option, but they expand the choice. So they give you a lot of different ways to communicate with students, and they also give you flexibility for things like what we're experiencing in these moments in January. But here's what I really like. Remote education delivered over Zoom isn't the same. An ebook isn't the same. A digital download isn't the same as online and hybrid courses that are deliberately designed to incorporate digital tools into the pedagogy. And that's what FlexEd is all about. So normally I would turn it over to Don to give you a live demonstration of FlexEd, but I'm going to just walk you through a couple of key points of FlexEd, and you can see some screenshots on the right-hand side of my screen. So the first piece of FlexEd is it is flexible. It's in the name. So flexible means that FlexEd works in any learning environment. So it is completely appropriate for in-person learning as a digital platform to deliver content when students aren't physically in class. And I'll talk a little bit more about those features separately. But it can work for virtual or hybrid, and it also positions you if you have to pivot quickly. FlexEd is there, all of your content is in one spot, and you can communicate with students via the FlexEd tools. So FlexEd, the flexibility not only is in how you teach, but in what you teach. FlexEd empowers you to be creative. FlexEd is a fully complete courseware. It's a course in a box is a way to think about it, but it empowers you to very easily be creative and make it your own. The tool is easy to use. There's DIY, drag and drop. If you've ever built a website with Weebly or any of those things, FlexEd is very, very easy to use. Just drag and drop. You can add your own content, your own assessments. You can truly make it yours. Now, for those larger course builds where you're maybe taking 2 or 3 books and a chapter here and a chapter there and a chapter there, our team is also there to help you out. If you're not comfortable with technology, we'll walk you through it. We'll help you out. But FlexEd empowers you to be creative and to teach the course with the materials exactly as you want. So there's another slide in here that talks about assessments. But because FlexEd offers a lot of different things for students, you're able to assess them in many different ways. So you've got traditional testing and things like that, but FlexEd has integrated discussion threads, integrated homework questions, a lot of integrated activities that you can use that can help you to assess students beyond just a midterm and a final. And then FlexEd empowers you to connect with your students, and I'll show you how that works in a second. So FlexEd provides engaging activities. So as I mentioned, pre-populated, course in a box. If you said, oh, I've got to teach biology tomorrow, you would be able to do it because everything that you need to teach the course is there. So it's pre-populated, or you can drag and drop your own. There are pre-populated homework prompts for every lesson, and we have discussion board and video prompts that are also included. So FlexEd, one of the things I love about it is each lesson starts with a video, and the video is designed to reinforce and teach on its own. It's not just a video that is related, but the video has an educational component to it as well. We understand that students learn in different ways, and some students prefer video, some prefer reading. So we give students an option to engage with the activities in a way that they like best, but also the text is included and incorporated. Now, for nursing students, we know that this is incredibly important, that there's a student study center. So for the open RN classes, they have flashcards, self-assessments, and glossaries all included within the FlexEd platform. So students don't have to have separate accounts to go all over the place. Additionally, the Daily Med database is integrated within FlexEd, so that information is right there at the fingertips of students. So I talked a minute ago about engagement metrics. So you can see the dashboard here. And what I love about the FlexEd dashboard is it's all of the information you want, but it's also actionable. It's not too much. It's not information overload. There's ability to dig deep if you want, but it's actionable. And what I mean by actionable is what FlexEd will show you is students who are engaged and those who are not engaged. But what it'll show you is the students who are struggling and not struggling, and it can help you hone in on the students who are really putting the time in and they're engaged, but they're still struggling. Because as an instructor, those students are demonstrating that they're trying, and those students can really benefit from some instructor support. So from a focus standpoint, it helps you hone in on that. So you can quickly identify those struggling students, and you can do personalized outreach directly through FlexEd. You can also automate it to send reminders, things like that. You can do integrated video chats and have that engagement with your students, email, video chat, however you like to do it and however your students like to do that. Finally, you can automate and have test reminders, quiz reminders. And on the student side, there's also a student study center that will help the students manage their course. So wrapping up on the FlexEd piece, FlexEd also gives you variety. A lot of different formats for evaluation. We've got practice activities as well as homework and case studies all integrated into the platform, along with video. You can assign video assignments. FlexEd also incorporates case studies, which are really important for nursing students as well, and a lot of different sources. So it's pretty much anything you want, and if there are other things that you want to add into that, it's not a problem to do that. So the FlexEd platform and learning guidelines are built around learn, practice, and assess. So as students go through the FlexEd platform, they're able to learn the material, take a self-assessment, and then the FlexEd platform will tell the student, they'll customize that to say, here's what you need to go back and study. You missed these couple things and here's some additional resources to help build your understanding. We find that this approach energizes the student learning because they're being told where to focus and where to go and what to do. And then finally, customizing and managing your course. So whether you choose the DIY option or if you choose the have us help you, FlexEd has a great thing for customizing your learning. So I'm just looking at some of the Q&A, pardon me as I'm looking down here. That's the end of the slides, and a couple of questions that are coming out are great questions. So the first one is FlexEd, an LMS for OER. No, so FlexEd is not the replacement for an LMS, although it integrates seamlessly with any LMS. So that was a key part when we designed FlexEd, that it would integrate an LMS. But FlexEd is what I would describe as OER plus. So FlexEd takes the OpenRN content and we build all kinds of other things. So the OpenRN content is mostly just the textbook. So FlexEd takes the assessment, the practices, additional case studies, videos that are related, and integrates them into a platform that is standalone from your LMS, but again, that it's integrated from that. So I'm sure Don can explain it better than me, and we're happy to have that conversation even further. But I hope that answers the question. So let's see, another question that's coming out is, how much does FlexEd cost? Which is a great question. So FlexEd is $35 per student, which is incredibly affordable, particularly given that they don't need to have extra subscriptions to things. They don't need to buy the physical textbook if they want, if they don't choose to. So it's $35 per student. And because we understand that the OpenRN series, most schools will teach this in a series, and again, Don can speak to the details on this, but we offer discounts for students that would be taking multiple terms of FlexEd. Great question. So why is OpenRN partnering with FlexEd? So OpenRN looked at a company like XanEdu and they said, gosh, we need somebody that can help us get this out to the marketplace. So they're able to benefit from XanEdu's ability to do custom publishing, whether that's printing, selling it via the Amazon store and managing all of the back end there, managing the digital downloads and reporting that are associated with their grant. And then because it's free content, we're able to use our additional content and bring that into FlexEd. Talking about the missions of the two organizations, and I touched on it very briefly, but I think it's important to emphasize that OpenRN is all about affordability for nursing students, and XanEdu has built our company on affordable, accessible learning solutions. So we're really proud that we can offer this courseware for $35 and offer a full print book for only $42, those kinds of things. So there's a great alignment of our missions there as OpenRN was looking for a partner. Excellent, excellent. All right, well, those are the questions that I see today. So again, I appreciate your patience with our last minute pivot, and we would love to reach out to you and schedule a demo and let you really get into the tool and see how it could work for your particular school. So on behalf of XanEdu, on behalf of myself and Don and our team, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us this afternoon. And we wish you a happy January and a happy start to the winter term. Thank you and have a great afternoon.